Hello, everybody, and welcome to another monthly episode of Tribe TV with Bernard Alvarez, myself, and Roxy Lopez. We welcome you to the show. This is another wonderful project that me and Roxy are working on together. And today we decided that it would be a really good idea if we share tools for activists. We know that a large portion of my audience, as well as Roxy Lopez's audience, are involved in some type of activism or another. And if you're like us, you get a little burnout, you get a little frustrated, you have obstacles that might be difficult to overcome. So we felt that we could at least impart some of our experience and some of our wisdom to you, as well as looking back on in history to some of the other notable activists around the world and some of the things that they've had to say as far as overcoming these types of things. Anyway, without further ado, I am noticing I want to get chat going here and I can't see the chat. So I apologize for that if we can't get to your chat questions. But without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome Roxy to today's show. Hi, Roxy. How are you?
Hi, Bernard. I'm great, and I'm really excited to do this show today because this is going to be really upbeat, and we're going to stay away from the drama. Bernard and I decided that in order to really get our points across and lift everyone's spirits, that the content of this show will do exactly that, and some really inspirational stuff for everyone. So I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
We're glad you're here too. Thank you, Roxy. To start the show, actually, Roxy, you had a suggestion that you wanted to share a little bit of inspiration to get us going. It
Yeah.
is, what is it called? The
Okay.
Angel?
Well, what it's called is I thought that everyone that's listening and watching right now, we're going to pull a card from a really magical deck and just see what comes up. And I bet you it's going to be the focus, just to show how spirit works, how it all works, how collective consciousness works. And so I'm going to do this. It was a gift from a friend, and here's the cover of the box, and it's called Magical Mermaids and Dolphins. So that would be one of the things that we actually have in our arsenal, if you will, our toolbox for activists, is that we have to break out of the mold sometimes and explore and be creative and imagine and have a little fun, right? And
Yeah.
so I seriously mean this. It works. So I want to thank Crystal for giving this to me, and we're going to pull it. So what I'm supposed to do, just so you all know, I'm going to do it right in front of you. Here's the little book that says what every card means. So I'm not going to hide anything. And here's the deck right here. So if you could all focus with me, everyone right now, as I shuffle the deck, because this is about our collective conscious. So what it's going to do, it's going to pull up something that we all need to hear.
Oh, good.
And yeah, how cool is that? So while I'm shuffling, we can just kind of focus. They're kind of hard to shuffle because they're really big cards, but I'm just going to shuffle them a few times, as you can see. And if we could all just focus on something that we would like to hear today from the mermaids and the dolphins, from the land of our collective consciousness. So if we could just do that for just a moment and just focus on that. Let's just have a little fun, all right? And let's see. I hear somebody saying shuffle more. So I'm going to shuffle more. See, I already picked that up. It's a woman. One of you is listening and said shuffle it more. Okay, so I got it. Is this going to be enough? Cut the deck, all right?
Yes.
Okay. Was that you? And let's put those together again. Wow. They're all flying around. They want to go. And then let's take our top card.
Yep.
You ready, everyone?
I'm ready.
Okay, here's the card.
Oh,
My
good.
favorite is mermaids. It says, set your sights higher, increase your standards, and expect more for yourself. Don't settle. So there it is. Let's see if everyone can see
We
it.
can.
And that's our card today. Is that fabulous?
That's
And
exactly what I needed to hear.
is it? You know what? It's a good one because we tend to take less, especially as activists. I have on my list of things to talk about that we don't need to be a doormat for anybody. So that's that. I like that. And then I'm going to look up, and excuse me, I've got to look up Set Your Sights Higher because it'll explain it a little more for us. So while I'm doing that, um, I don't even know how to find it in here.
Yeah, and actually, as you're doing that, I'd like to inspire us even further. There is to start off with our historical activists that are out there. And actually, this one passed away several years ago, but I don't know how many of you remember Christopher Reeve from Superman, who after his accident became a bit of an activist, and on several levels. And one of the things that he believed in, and one of the things that he left behind with us, was this wonderful saying that says, a hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. And if anybody knew about overcoming overwhelming obstacles, it was definitely Christopher Reeve. So for all of us activists that get beat down sometimes, or even just in life in general, like Roxy said, this show is for everybody. I know that most of our audience are activist oriented, but we all get beat down sometimes, and we all need to remember that we are heroes in our own life.
I
Anyway,
think that's
Roxy, did you get
beautiful.
it?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
So
cool.
Set Your Sights Higher. We can name the show that.
There we go.
Increase your standards and expect more for yourself. Don't settle. This card indicates that you've been trying to rationalize that some situation is okay when it isn't. You've settled for less than you desire and for much less than you deserve. You don't need to compromise. Heaven will help you heal or will replace troubling situations in your life. All you need to do is ask for heaven's help and then adhere to the guidance that results. Take time today to visualize and dream about your true heart's desire. Don't worry about being disappointed. You deserve a great life, and you have the power and the heavenly help to accomplish it. Fear and worries slow down your manifestation. So keep releasing all cares and doubts to heaven. You may feel intimidated by moving up to a higher plateau
Wow.
in your journey. However, you have heaven's reassurance that you're ready. Reach for the stars. Know that you're qualified and deserving of these gifts and open your arms to receive them. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to open my arms right now to receive them.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm definitely. I want to just mention in this. I think this is very interesting. I was having a conversation with somebody, another activist, a couple of days ago. The line in here that says, fear and worry slow down your manifestation. Fear and worries are paralyzing, aren't they?
Absolutely.
And when we get afraid, that's exactly what happens. And so fear is something I believe that is like a road mark, a landmark, a sign on the side of the road. It's not meant to live, it's just a sign.
Yeah.
And so when fear comes up, what are we supposed to do with it? I think walk through it would be a good idea. And I think, as the quote that you just read, Bernard, to take on that challenge and to walk through that fear is really what life is all about. Life presents more fear than anything else, it seems. And fear can be a motivator too. So we can turn these symbols around. In other words, we can take something bad and turn it into something good anytime we want. We have that power of choice and free will.
We certainly do. And I will say, as someone who, in my youth, had a lot of anxiety and worry and fear, as I've gotten older, I've learned how to handle it and have not had that. However, it can be very crippling if you allow it. And, thank you for bringing up fear, because I have a wonderful quote here from one of my heroes, Aung San Suu Kyi, who says that the only real prison is fear. The only real freedom is freedom from fear. And I feel that that's something that not only that we as activists need to portray some sense of fearlessness, not only to the outside world. But I feel that even to be an activist, you have to be fearless, just to say the way, say what's on your mind, to tackle the issues that a lot of people find very controversial. I had my last boss before I became self-employed and had my own business and whatnot. This is before GIC. He used to always say to me, your mouth is going to get you in trouble. And and I
Not
said,
just my mouth.
and I said, you know what? My mouth is what's going to change the world. And that was my reply to him. And he was like, what are you talking about? I said, I speak what's on my mind. I say what other people are afraid to say, and I feel that somebody needs to say it. So why not me? I'm fearless in that sense. However, it just goes to show you that here, people will always try to put you down, try to always make you think that whatever you're thinking is wrong, or that your political views or your spiritual views might not be in keeping with the norm, and they're going to try to put you down. So we need to remember that we don't need to focus on being afraid of what other people say. And I think that's another very important thing that we as activists and or human beings during this time of the shift is overcoming our concern with pleasing everybody all the time.
I love what you just said about your voice echoes what people think. And you're right on target with that. It is absolutely all of our voices when we're authentic and really trying to change the world for the better. That is the absolute truth. We tend to be the voice for what others are thinking but can't say. And John Lennon said it like this. He said, my role in society, or any artist or poet's role, is to try and express what we all feel. Not to tell people how to feel, not as a preacher, not as a leader, but as a reflection of us all. And that's John Lennon.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know that he had said that, but that's very true.
Is that cool?
That's very cool, and it's very true.
Yeah, it's true. And you said it in another way, And here's another thing, the dichotomy that lives within us. Do you ever have those days, people, where on the one hand, you feel really positive, and then on the other hand, you feel really negative. On the one hand, you really feel like you can really raise the bar, and then on the other hand, you think you're not good enough. And here's another one from John Lennon, and he said it, you could hear him saying this, and he's probably laughing at himself when he's saying it. And he says, quote, part of me suspects that I'm a loser, and the other part of me thinks I'm God Almighty.
Oh, boy. Can I relate to that?
And so, you see, the greats before us, John Lennon's one of my favorite, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
But the greats before us, had a balance. And Bernard and I were talking about, we made a list of things that we found were helpful in our life. And when I was making my list, on that list is humor. And the reason I thought of humor is because of you, Bernard. Because one thing that you do is you always smile, you always laugh. Under pressure, when technical things aren't going right, all of it, you laugh. And laughter and humor are so important in our lives. I was thinking about this a few weeks ago when I was really under the gun with something. And I realized I couldn't even remember when I smiled last. That's not good, people. No. That's not good when you're like this all day long.
Yeah.
and night and day, and wake up like that with your jaw all tight.
Yeah.
You ever do that? The TMJ.
Oh, I used to have it really bad. Yeah.
Stiff. So these are ways to alleviate, because I truly believe, and what do you think about this? I really believe that the gift of life is to actually live it in freedom and in joy and in happiness with one another. I think that's our ultimate goal.
Absolutely.
And in the course of that, not only getting to know each other through that reflection, getting to know who we are ourselves.
Absolutely, Roxy, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because there is, maybe an observation that I've been having I've been doing this now live for 6 years, and I've been very involved in the movement for about 6 years now. And what I'm seeing is that a lot of people, including myself at times, and I'm sure we've all had this, where we are so connected to the philosophy involved and, let's say, spiritual activism. Many of us are like, oh, well, this life is only an illusion. It's not real. We're going, or, then there are those of us who believe in the idea of the afterlife, and that's when we're going to get it all, or that this doesn't matter because we're going to reincarnate over and over again. So, a lot of us get lost in that. And it's funny that, just like you said, I was watching a television show, which I happen to love, like old 80s sitcoms. And they just put out Dinosaurs on Netflix, and I've been watching it. And one of the episodes was, and I had never seen this one. I remember I watched it maybe a few times when I was a kid, but now it's on, DVD or whatever. But there was an episode where she goes to the afterlife, and the grandmother dies, Ethel or whatever her name is. The old lady in the wheelchair dies and goes to the afterlife, and she sees it's all beautiful and this and that, and then she comes back to Earth, and all she does is talk about the afterlife. And they kill her again, like she dies, has another near-death experience, only for her dead husband to tell her, stop talking about the afterlife. You live every day like it's your last. You are here to live your life. Enjoy life. Each day counts. Every moment counts. Every experience counts. And many times we find that a lot of people get caught up, in their work, like an activist or someone involved in metaphysics and whatnot. We're very much in our head, many of us. I know I'm one of those people, that we forget to just, smell the flowers, or, and have a nice conversation with a good friend, or go out and have coffee. Just the little things in life that are very, very important. We're going to talk a little bit more about that and how to lift your spirits when you've just been beaten down by a horrible protest. But that's that'll be a little bit later. But that does happen. I mean, let's face it. I watched the last 2 days. I've been watching the Spanish Revolution, and in watching some of the brutality that's been going on, it's very disheartening. It's very disheartening. And to hear, even Occupy Wall Street, when I hear about friends getting arrested or getting hit, or hit with tear gas, it's very heartbreaking, and you just want to give up. So you get very frustrated, and you're like, oh man, I got to stick to got to focus on the message, got to focus on the work, and it's not just that. Yeah, that's a part of who we are, but it's not the entirety of who we are. So I really appreciate what you said there with that.
Excellent. Revolution, all it means is opposing the masses, or opposing the leaders, or opposing the dictators. We start walking the other way. We start separating from the crowd. Some of us came into this life, and maybe some of you who are watching this today, you came in separated already. You already were thinking outside the box. You already felt, this is a strange place. How come nobody sees what I see? Right?
I call that the stranger in a strange land syndrome.
Yeah, and it really is. And the reality is that's not your ego telling you this. That's the part of you that really is sort of remembering that, wow, I know this stuff. Why don't these people around me know this stuff? And this is where we make big mistakes. I do it too, where I judge the people that I call asleep.
Yeah.
And I can't wrap my mind around why they don't get what I'm saying. But that's the story of my life. I was like that with my parents, my siblings, most people that I met. And then there was always someone in the neighborhood, or someone in the family, like an old aunt or what have you, that got what I was talking about. And I'd think, okay, I'm not insane. There's always going to be one person around you that gets what you're talking about. And that's what I wanted to bring up. The idea of surrounding yourselves with like minds. I know I do, and I'll tell you why I do. Because it feels good.
Yeah.
It feels better. It's like Bernard, like you and I. We can talk about anything, anytime. We can disagree. We can come to solutions.
Yeah.
We can respect each other's opinion. And it doesn't have to be my opinion. Your opinion doesn't have to be my opinion. Now, why do we have that relationship when somebody in one of my activist groups can say something and all of a sudden I'm pissed off.
Yeah,
What's the difference? Because you and I built trust. That's
absolutely.
why. We built a relationship where we are free to express one another and know that we love one another. And this is what we all need to do, people. We need to surround ourselves with people that get us, that accept us, because I'm sorry, that's just really important. We should not be lone wolves out there kicked out of the pack and just standing all by ourselves. We're not effective that way.
No, we're
And
not.
it makes no logical sense. Let's get real here. And the torch that we carry, please. We're just living life. And I want to on that with the remembering and the getting to know. Here's John Lennon again. He says, quote, "The more real you get, the more unreal the world
Yeah.
gets."
One of my favorites by him.
I love that.
I love that one.
This man said this in 1964. Okay, so there are some things on this planet that never change.
You can
All
say
right?
that again.
Right? There's some things that never change. But as far as, bringing up again with Bernard, the humor and laughter, that's really important. So I don't care what it is. If it's a comedian that you like, if it's, by the way, Chris Rock, when you were bringing up Christopher Reeves at the front of the show, I don't know if you guys have seen this. It is hilarious. He brings up Christopher Reeves, and it's really hilarious what he says about it. He was talking about medicine, and he was talking about the pharmaceuticals, bad-mouthing him.
Right.
And then he said, his line was, and of course I can't do it like him, so you'll have to go and watch it yourself, but it was hysterical. It was hilarious. He said, "What do you mean? All the money in the world, all the money going into the cancer walks and the Susie G. Komen millions, billions of dollars, and we ain't got no cure." And he goes, "I'm sorry, and Superman in a wheelchair. That's wrong, And he made light of it, but
Yeah.
he was also bringing in, stuff that you start to think about, like George Carlin did. So.
Yeah.
That's another inspiration for people. It inspires me when I see that because I think here's a comedian out there nailing it and making me laugh at it. And can we laugh at ourselves too? That's something.
No, that's the lesson. That's the lesson. Can we laugh at ourselves not only as individuals but as a movement? I'm seeing every once in a while you'll see little parodies. I saw a great parody. You showed me The Secret earlier. There was a parody on The Secret that was really hysterical. I don't know if you guys have seen it. We have it on GIC, actually.
I love it.
And just go to the GIC, hit search Secret parody, and it is so funny. It is really, really funny. And a lot of people take offense to it. I mean, we seem to be so... Again, this is a sign that you need to walk away from the computer, take a breath, take a walk out in nature, when you're so busy being an activist that you get offended by something that might bring light or a little humor to the work that's involved. And I see it all the time where I'll post something in light. I'll post something very funny, and someone will start listing off the important things of why we need to continue doing what you're doing, and I'm like, no, this was supposed to be funny. This is a joke.
Well, psychologically speaking, we see this all the time and we see it with ourselves. We want to own our misery. We want the right to be miserable. We want the right to be defeated. We want the right to not have our dream come true. And to me, that's insanity. We tend to slip into that.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference between grieving through a process of grieving for something that we either didn't achieve or something that we just lost. And there's a difference between that's meant to walk through. We're supposed to walk through these processes, like fear, all right, and grieving and so forth. And we shouldn't live in it, though. That's the whole thing. And we're all being able to teach each other this. We're all supposed to inspire. Inspiration is a huge, huge energy. To be inspired. What inspires you? And if you don't know what inspires you, what makes your heart pump, if you don't know what your passion is, then you're not, I assure you, going to find it arguing with people all day long on Facebook.
Yeah.
All right. Really, I do it. I get it. I'm doing it less and less. Those of
Yeah.
you who know me, my presence on Facebook is getting less and less and less. And look, it took me a long time. I used to live on Facebook. That's how I got to know a lot of people. So with that in mind, during the second half of this show, why don't we walk through the process of, naming on our list everything that we've got in our toolbox for everybody. Would you like to do that, Bernard?
Oh, let's go ahead. Absolutely.
Okay,
I think
great.
that's a great
I
idea.
just had another inspiring moment. So, I'm getting inspired. I'm going to do another card. Is that okay?
That's fine.
For the second half of the show.
That's fine. And as you do that, I just want to share this quote that was really very, very profound to me. We talk about some of the things, again, like you said, getting beaten down, getting tired, getting frustrated. And this quote says it all. The only tired I was tired of giving in. And that's from Rosa Parks.
Nice.
That is amazing. The only tired I was tired of giving in. So
tired of giving in. Yeah, I think that's a great one because I think that is what happens when we get exhausted.
Yeah.
And so here we go for the second half of the show, and we're going to pull a card for everyone. So everyone, put your thoughts on here, and let's see if we can pull out something. And I did put our first card back in again.
Oh.
So. Yep, I put it back in, and you never know, it could come up.
I was going to say that would be nice.
Yeah, but the first half of our show is basically that we deserve to have a good life.
Yes, we all do.
We deserve to have more in our life, and we deserve to have more people in our life that love us, and so forth and so forth. So I'm going to cut the deck, and here we go. Oh, this is perfect for the second half of the show. I'm not kidding. It's called A New Dawn.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good. I was about to talk on that. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. So it says, A New Dawn. The worst is now behind you, and positive new experiences are on the horizon. Is this so
nice.
This is so fun.
High five.
I mean, the first half of the show is behind us. Okay, so A New Dawn, and I did figure out how to look this up. It's all alphabetical. How cool by the name of the card. So I'll go ahead and read A New Dawn. Okay, so we can just imagine what this is all about, right? A new dawn. The worst is now behind you, and positive new experiences are on the horizon. You've endured storms over rough seas, but now the way is clear and smooth. From here on in, you can expect the best. Wash away the negativity from your consciousness and past memories, and keep only the positive lessons and love. Don't hang on to anything that could weigh you down, such as resentment or bitterness. Let it go. If you've gone through patterns of negativity in the past, this is the time to affirm, I now release the need to experience this life's lesson. I extract whatever teachings I need to discover, and I move on to a life of harmonious and peaceful actions. By pulling this card, you've turned a corner in your life, wherein your prayers and positive thoughts are delivering new rays of divine light to illuminate your present and future. Is this uncanny or what?
Really? How perfect was that?
I didn't plan this, and I know I'm hearing somebody asking, so I'm just going to go with this. Again, this is the name. If you want, somebody in the group here wants to get this. So this is what it is. Go ahead and write that down. And I'm sure
that's really cool. I never heard of that before. The Magical Mermaids.
It's a 44 card deck. It's by Doreen Virtue.
Oh, love her.
Yep. And they're called Oracle cards, Magical Mermaids and Dolphins. So that'll be our first step. Why doesn't everybody just go ahead and go out and get it? Maybe you can get it online or something, right?
Oh, sure. You can get it on Amazon for half price or something.
And you know what? Now you all are reminding me. I used to do one of these. I used to pull it when I got up every morning. And I have to tell you something. I haven't used these, honestly, for about 2 years. So I'm going to keep these on my desk. Thank you very much. And I'm going to start using them again every day. Okay? So
Very
I
good.
just something from the show today. All right.
So let me just let me jump in here as far as moving into the new dawn and the new paradigm and whatnot, and also tying in the old part of, well, an earlier the discussion we just had about humor, is that what do we want once we've achieved? What happens if one day there's nothing to protest? What happens when we finally get everything we want? What kind of life is that going to be? Is there going to be humor? Is there going to be music? Is there going to be celebration? Is there going to be abundance? Of course. I would hope so. I want to be able to laugh. I want to be able to sing. I want to be able to dance. I want to be able to share everything I have with everybody. So this is one of the things that we were going to talk about in this half hour, was creating that new dawn that we talk about. And what are we, while we are 1 foot in this particular plane of consciousness, which is, the 3.5 dimensional world, yes, we have work to do here, and we're doing that work. But at the same time, while we are protesting, while we are exposing, and while we are discovering who we truly are, what are we going to be creating at the same time? Are we creating more things to protest? Are we creating more things to expose? Or are we taking a break and saying, okay, now that I've exposed Monsanto for this 20 minutes today, now I'm going to start creating a better world for the next 20 minutes. And kind of having your foot on every plane of consciousness, I think, is a very important thing.
Absolutely, and it's like a wheel, with lots of spokes on it. And that's how I look at life. There's our personal life, there's our private life, there's our personal relationships, our children. What are we going to cook for dinner tonight? Our financial life, our animals, our farms, our when we grow food, whatever it is. All of this are the spokes of life. I know it's been said before. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's literally. So I love that idea. And here's another one. When you've had a rough day, or even if you haven't had a rough day, how many of you love to burn oils, or love the
essential oils?
Yes, essential oils.
I'm saying they're going to get in their Hummer and go around the block. No kidding.
Yeah, or gasoline will do. I remember when I was a kid, I liked the smell of diesel.
I did too.
I loved going when my mom would follow the bus, and I would get. Don't ask me what that's all about. No more. I mean, now it makes me want to throw up. But scents.
Essential oil.
There's a number of ways. You can do soy candles. You can do essential oils. And then just think, like, when you go into a place, start smelling all the different oils. And don't forget to take your coffee beans or have coffee beans so you can smell the difference. Because some of us like musks. Some of us like really strong, like patchoulis or cedars. Some of us like lavender. Some of us like gardenia or plumeria. Or there's so many of them, and go and find, and some of us like to mix them. Go and find out what you like, and for really inexpensive, and this isn't an advertisement in any way, but right now Puritan's Pride has a sale. I think you buy 2 and get 3 free little bottles of essential oils. Cool. And it'll cost you $10. It's really inexpensive. So what you do is mix yours, start mixing them up, because see, everybody has a special scent that they like. All right. And find out what it is and start burning it. Start having it around you. Start putting little dabs on you. You know what I mean? Because everything about scent. Have you noticed that when you wear a scent that maybe you wore 10 years ago, or let's say you wore a certain Chanel or whatever.
Like say, don't tell me Halston.
Right. Okay, there you go. That's a good example. And when you smell it, what does it do?
It brings back memories. It really does. It makes you feel at home. That's why they call it aroma therapy.
And isn't that what we're talking about? Remembering.
Yeah.
It really opens up our memory.
I got to share this then, because I'm sitting here smelling it as you're talking. Oh. There is a blend that I love, and I don't know if I can find it anywhere. If anybody can tell me where to find it, I would be thrilled. But I used to buy it at this little metaphysical store. I forgot what was it called, Magical Forest in South Florida, and it was called Egyptian Temple Blend. And it had I know
Oh, I
frankincense,
remember that.
frankincense. I believe it was rose and lavender and maybe some amber or what's it, what starts with the M? No, myrrh.
The
Hello.
rolling.
It
Oh,
was
myrrh.
frankincense, myrrh, rose, lavender. I don't know, but it was the
Well,
most wonderful smell I ever
Bernard,
smelled, and it was in an oil.
you can mix your own. Just order those from Puritan's Pride. You
Well, I'm
don't
not
even
sure if those are the ingredients, but I'm pretty sure they were. I could,
know. But see,
thinking
this is
about
where
it.
creativity comes in. This is where you create. Maybe the reason why you can't find it is because you're supposed to create a new blend.
Maybe.
Because don't forget, we have a new dawn.
That's true.
Okay. So
That's true. But
that's
yeah,
what,
so that's definitely a very important aspect of nourishing the spirit.
yeah,
Is
scents are great. Like if you're having trouble sleeping and you delight a little lavender, it just goes, you just feel better. See, we just don't rely on these things and we need to rely on them. I do them all the time. And the other one is, in regards to scents, find the one you like. Like I love lemon. I love the scent of lemon and grapefruit. I love those scents. So sometimes if I want to perk up, I burn those. If I want to go to sleep, sometimes it's a different feeling I want. But
well, they're very energizing. All citrus are very energizing.
very energizing, yes. And I love woods, and woods make me cerebral for some reason. The musks, the patchouli, cedars, rosewoods. For some reason, they make me cerebral. Okay, so there we have that. So number
I like
one,
that a lot.
we had humor. So humor, to have humor, to be able to laugh at ourselves
Yeah.
and all the rest of it. Number two is scents. Have scents around in the car, on you, around your desk where you work, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Uh, Now, here's another one. Now, we already established with the quotes affirmations, and if you like
Very
any of
important.
those quotes, I'm happy to put this in the article for the show today. The references that Bernard made and that I made, or find one of your own and put them on. Put your affirmations on little sticky notes, right? And just stick it on the corner of your computer or on your refrigerator. Affirmations are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
Awesome. So the next one that we can cover now is beauty. Surround yourself with
Aesthetic.
beauty.
Aesthetic beauty, absolutely.
Yeah. So what I do is I just look at myself in the mirror all day. Kidding. Kidding. All right. So, but really, I should be allowed to say that.
Absolutely. Humor. Hello.
Well, I should be able to look at myself and say I'm beautiful.
Absolutely. We all should. We all should.
Okay, there you go.
Absolutely.
But in the context of what I said, yes, it was a joke. Okay, so beauty. So what are some of the beautiful things? All right, for some, it could be a gardenia plant in your garden that you just go and sit by and smell the aroma, and then you get it all. You get the visual aesthetic, you get the scent of it, and the appreciation of it's growing and it's blooming or what have you. And Bernard, what are some of your beauty?
I would
What are
say it's funny as you're saying that. I'm thinking of the two most important, beautiful things I have in my life are the view from my window right here, because I have a view of the Roanoke Mountain, Mill Mountain, with the big Roanoke star at the top. And right now it's starting to be fall, and we're starting to see the leaves change. And I don't know if you guys know Appalachia; it's all covered in trees. So the mountain is covered in trees. It's just starting to turn the fall colors. So my view is beautiful for me that I have in my life. And then the other things are my cats. I think my cats are beautiful. I love to just look at them. I think Isis is all white, and then the other one is a silver tabby, and just their mannerisms and the way they walk and the way they lay down and the way they sleep. I sit there and I look at them. I'm like, God, they're so beautiful. They're so beautiful.
So see, this is so perfect because
So animals in nature.
right within your own
Within my home. Within my
yes.
home.
And see, so you don't have to look far for it, do you? And there are all sorts of beauty in the world. You can just look outside and see the beauty in the world. You can
Well,
art,
people have
the
children.
arts.
The arts.
The arts are
paintings.
inspiring. A beautiful magazine. Maybe you're at the grocery store and you see one and it just catches your eye, and you open it up and it's like how to, redo your office or your
I was going to
bedroom,
say I love
right?
architecture and
Don't you love
design.
it?
I love
I
design and
love that
architecture.
magazine. So see, these are little things. I'm not saying order them and get them every month. I'm saying every now and then treat yourself to something like that and start perusing it, and you'll get inspired, because
Yeah.
that's what these magazines are intended to do, to inspire you. Sometimes I go a little too far. Like I just want to, like, oh my God, I want the room to look exactly like that, and get out the paintbrush and this and that. And it's okay, because the good thing about painting a room is A, it's cheap, and B, you can always repaint it another color when you get tired of that. See, where do we come in with all these rules? There are
Yeah.
no rules, people.
No.
You can have every room in your house a different color. You can have every wall in your house a different color. And if you're artistic, hey, why not paint something artistic on your wall that you can appreciate? So beauty in the arts as well. And listen, there's an artist in all of us. There's a musician in
Oh,
all
I
of
hope
us.
so.
There's a creator in all of us. So we all have
Poetry.
this ability. And I love it. Okay.
Let me
And
expand on what you're saying here. This last weekend at Occupy Roanoke, we have a member there, and actually, I'm going to have him come on my show, probably on one of these live webcasts. Anyway, he's known on YouTube as Comrade Zero. He is a hardcore communist socialist. He's smart as hell, though. Smart as hell. Anyway, he is a veteran. And he's a disabled veteran who has to live on his veteran disability. And what we were talking about aesthetics. And he said to me, he goes, you know what? I don't have any money. And by the way, neither do I, and I still enjoy beauty. But I'm talking about him right now. And he says, I have no money. He goes, but to me, it's not about money. Aesthetics is not about money. You can have posters of beautiful paintings. You can play classical music in the background. You can have beauty all around you for absolutely nothing if you know how to find it. And I was like, wow, really? You're such a hardcore, Leninite or whatever.
Right.
He's the token socialist, as we say. But he still finds a way to keep beauty in his life, keep beauty around him. He has beautiful books on poetry and art and music and all of these things. So it's not even about paying for it. You can go to the library and get a beautiful classical CD, or you can go to a flea market and buy beautiful print posters, for $1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a matter of, having the money, because a lot of people say, oh, well, I can't afford a designer. You don't need a designer. You don't need to copy the magazine.
You can go to thrift stores.
It's a state of mind.
The library. You can get magazines for 10 cents at the library.
Absolutely.
At the Friends of Life. It's called Friends of Life. They sell them for like 10 cents, 5 cents. You can go to the recycling centers, hint, hint.
Yeah.
And maybe put down one you've read and exchange it with one that's sitting there to be recycled.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can get free magazines. You're absolutely right. And free beauty around you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So don't let economy be an issue as far as having beautiful things around you.
And see, that all falls under the category of inspiration, which is my next thing, music. Now, it doesn't always have to be music. Here's one that I listen to. It's got 5 CDs in it.
Wow.
You can get it used on Amazon. 3 CDs. You can download them on your iPod, and it's really soothing. I love it. It has music, it has birds, it has the sound of the ocean. That's just one of my particulars because I was born and raised in Hawaii, and I love that. And here's another one. This is an oldie but a goodie, and it has all different types of music on it. Folks, you can get these used on Amazon for like $5. And this one has 4 inspiring, inner peace, stuff for, stuff for, whatever, stuff to make you vibrant, stuff to make you go to sleep, some things to make you inspirational, some for when you're painting a photo, a picture, whatever you're doing. So those are just 2 of my favorites, and I've listened to them over the years. These are like 15 years old. So There are things like that. Sometimes you can listen to nature. Running water is one of my favorite. They even have
Yeah.
one with rain. Shh.
Yeah, I love that too.
That sound. So these are other ways I'm telling you, there's proof in science that when you listen to these, your blood pressure goes down, your heartbeat goes down, everything starts to mellow out. These are the senses. We see beauty, we hear beauty, we speak beauty. These are all of our senses.
And then we feel it.
We feel it. Why do you think we have all this?
Absolutely.
Certainly not to be bombarded with, you're an a-hole. What are you talking about? There's no such thing as
right. No, that Senate bill didn't mean that. But I will say also, to add to that, for those of you that are interested in music, for me, I don't like to keep music around because I end up losing it. So I like to listen to it online, and Sky.fm, by the way. Sky.fm, it's international and it's free. And they have nature sounds, they have vocal, they have
that
Sky.fm.
Okay, I'm going to put that in the article.
Sky.fm is amazing. They have like 20 different genres, anything from jazz to classical to reggae to rock to alternative. But you know what I do in the morning? I put on vocal new age, which is like Lorena McKinnon, Enya, Clannad, things like that. And I have my coffee and I go through my emails and I listen to that first thing, because I was doing the Democracy Now! Thing first thing in the morning, and that's not a good way to wake up.
It's y'all fired up.
You don't want to get started with activism first thing in the morning. It will get you a little bit too riled up.
So ease your way into your morning.
So, what I did is I took a couple weeks off. I don't know how many of you are followers of the GIC, but we usually did show Democracy Now! At 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Now I've moved it up to 9 a.m. So that way I have an hour of nice vocal, relaxing new age music and stuff, and I get to look out the window, and I open the window, and I listen to the birds and whatnot.
That's wonderful.
So it's important, I think the point that we're making here is that, our work is, it's hard. It's hard, it's frustrating, and we're dealing with changing the world. It's not easy. And we have to remember not only to nurture the people around us, but to nurture ourselves. And I think that Roxy and myself are hopefully giving you some tools to do that. Remember, you come first, because if you're not working right, you're not going to be able to change anything.
Well, and I love this show because before we came on to air today, Bernard and I were, we're like frazzled. We're like,
I was. I'm running late.
We're just on the go all the time. My toes need to turn into wheels.
Yeah.
So I can just start skating around. But we both said it at the same time. It was synchronistic. We said we both needed the show.
Yeah.
And so now you guys, just by being here with all of us, you're reminding me that I need to start playing this. And your story about when you're getting up in the morning, I need these to go into my stereo or online to Sky FM and this and that. So thank you for the inspiration. Now we've only got about 9 minutes, so let's move it on to inspiration again.
Of course.
Inspirational books or workshops. And I'm just going to show you a couple. This is what works for me. I've used this for 30 years. I used to teach the workshop. All right. Hold on. Here we go. It's called Believe and Achieve. And it's a combination. It's CDs, sorry. And I used to teach this workshop. It is amazing. It's worked for me most of my adult life. How's that? Believe and Achieve is
Napoleon Hill is awesome.
And why I used to teach the workshop free, by the way, every weekend is because it would keep me in it. It would keep me expressing it. It would keep me learning it over and over and over again. So it also was not just for the people around me. And I wanted to educate all my friends so that they would be positive people too. And so I wanted to help my friends as well. The one my husband used, I don't, but that's okay, is The Secret. My husband seemed to like this one. He really got it.
A lot of people like it.
A lot of people do. Exactly.
I loved it for the first year or two. Absolutely.
Right.
I loved it before they took out Abraham.
Well, exactly. So, but again, if you go on Amazon, people, for Believe and Achieve, again, you're going to find this huge series of CDs. It's got like 6 of them for like $5.
Yeah.
Really, and it's fabulous, and you can just sit and learn it for yourself or listen to it. And here's another thing for those of you who are saying right now, where am I going to get the time? Where am I going to get the time? I have one for you. When you go to sleep at night, you can put a player right next to your bed, put it on very gently and softly, and go to sleep. Your subconscious mind will pick it all up.
I agree.
So there are many ways. I used to do that with this for many years, and I'm not kidding you. So that's just one of my favorites, and it reminds me, I just did this in a workshop here at the house about 3 years ago, and it's time to get a few people together again and do it again. So that's going to be on my list of things to do. What about for you, Bernard? An inspirational book or workshop? Anything that's inspired you in the
presently I'm using my own book, believe it or not. I had someone who had bought the book, and I had posted an ad or something about it. By the way, I wrote a book several years ago called The Book of One, and she told me that she uses it daily and just opens up to a page and reads a page. Nice. And she gets inspired by it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start doing that. I'm like, it's my own book. I might as well see. So I've been really enjoying that. I will say also that...
Where do we get that book?
Amazon.com.
Okay, I'm going to get it.
It's available at Amazon.com. It's called The Book of One by myself, Bernard Alvarez, and Annabelle Montalbano.
Okay.
And it's a short read. It's a short read. And it's basically my experience, my out-of-body experience I had when I met the entities that I met that are still working with me, my guides or whatnot. But they wrote it, so it's really cool. So it's like I don't get to be in that state of mind where I'm constantly being inspired by my spirit guides. So it's nice to be able to open up a page and say, oh, well, that works for today. That works for today.
That sounds fabulous.
The other thing I do, I don't do it as much as I should, is I'm very lucky enough to have a good relationship with our former co-host, Janine Austin, who's a life coach.
Nice.
And so I get free coaching from her once in a while. And that really helps.
That's a fabulous thing to do. Life coaching is fabulous.
That really is very inspiring. It clears up my mind. She's like, well, this is what you're doing. And what I love about Janine is, first of all, if you guys remember who she is, she's got a perky, sweet disposition. And she's like, she's so cute. And then she's like, and this is your homework today. You have to do it. So I really enjoy it. So there's where I get my inspiration, quite honestly. As well, I'll say that my inspiration comes from my work. You know, I find that the letters that I receive, I normally don't read comments. I've learned not to read comments. I've learned really not to... Oh, I know this is going to sound terrible. I try not to read fan mail because some of it is hate mail, and I take it very personally.
Yes. So
I'll have somebody else read it for me. Usually Trevor will take care of that. I'm like, Trevor, can you check out the mail and see if there's anything I need to look at? You know? But
I know the feeling.
But every once in a while, I'll get inspired to read it, and I read these beautiful things that people will say, and you know, they'll be like, "Oh my God, you've helped me with this, you've helped me with that." So that's another way. You guys inspire me by your kind words and by sharing the successes that you've achieved with the work that I do. So I really appreciate that. And being appreciated, that's inspirational. That's very inspirational.
That's absolutely, I totally get what you're saying there. And I think that goes back to, you know, that mastermind alignment, that alignment with like minds, people who do support and validate. So that's here
absolutely.
Again, full circle with what you're talking about. Absolutely. Which reminds me, you just said, you know, your work inspires you, which is on the list. Another thing that we need to realize is to freely be of service. I would say that would be my number one calling on the planet. What about you, Bernard?
I would say so. And you know what? I'm going to share this quote that says from Dorothy Day. I'm not sure who she is. Does anybody know who Dorothy Day is?
Some lady.
Some lady. And she put, no one has the right to sit down and feel hopeless. There's too much work to do. And I'm like, that's perfect. I
It
can't be
is.
hopeless. I mean, there are so many people out there that are worse off than I am. There are so
Yes.
many people worse off than you are, or she is,
Yes.
or he is, or we are. And, there's so much work to be done. There's no reason to feel hopeless. There's just so much that we could be doing, whether it be to inspire one another or you know what? Actually, let me add to that inspiration as doing the People's Kitchen on the weekend when I feed a homeless person. It's very inspirational. It
Yes.
reminds me why I'm here. What am I doing? We get a big, and not to backtrack too much, but ever so quickly, every once in a while, we'll have people say, oh, well, what has Occupy achieved? All you do is feed the homeless. What? What? All we do is feed the homeless? That's not an achievement in
Well, that's
itself?
not a very that see what it just did to you when you said that.
I frowned.
That's obviously not an inspirational comment.
No, it's not. I'm like, oh my god! Because the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I'm the cook. I'm the one who cooks for the People's Kitchen. So tomorrow I'm making habichuelas boricua, Puerto Rican
Okay.
rice, Puerto Rican bean soup for Saturday.
Nice.
But so to me that is an achievement. That is inspirational. It's very inspirational to see the gratitude. I mean, we have the homeless people walk up to us every week saying, we couldn't do it without you. Thank God you're here. Thank God you're here. Thank God you're here. Because the homeless shelter doesn't feed men on the weekends here in Roanoke. So who's going to feed them? We do.
And they are the ones that appreciate your
Oh
service
yeah,
and
and the
they
funny thing is we're getting
appreciate
more
what you're
families,
doing, and
which is
that's
weird.
very validating, which encourages us to continue.
So
And that's
volunteering.
the other part of this is that we need for one another to validate, to just say, hey, good job, or give a hug or something, because it does matter. It goes a long way, doesn't it, Bernard?
It really does.
A
It really
smile goes a
does.
long way.
What do they call that? Paying it forward. Pay it forward.
Pay it
And,
forward.
and
Yeah,
it
that's
feels
another
so
good way of
good to.
saying that. And then last but not least, as we've spoken about all of these wonderful things to do, we did speak a little bit about getting some good rest. Diet is another one.
Very
Speak of
important.
the People's Kitchen. You're making wonderful food for people. People don't forget to eat. I fail
Eat
to do
right.
that. I'm at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, been working away on the phone, and then I realize I haven't even eaten today, and I'm ready to pass out, and that's not good either. So I'm putting it on the list right now for me to remember that when I get up to, provide myself with nutrition as well, to keep myself pumped up, to keep myself healthy, because it's we have this dominoes effect that will, by 7 o'clock in the evening, I could be a wreck.
Yeah. No,
And
and
for
we
me,
forget. We
you
forget.
know,
We don't
it's
listen to our body. If we're not listening to our body, we're not going to know when we're hungry.
there's a
So, and now listen, sometimes I'll skip breakfast because I'm not hungry, and that's fine. But if you're hungry and you're ignoring it, yeah, it's not gonna be very helpful to anybody.
there's a saying. It's called halt. Never get too hungry,
Angry,
angry,
lonely, or tired.
or tired. And that's a good one. That's good to remember. Okay, and
That's from
so
AA, isn't it?
yes, it is. It's 12 step.
I
Yes, it is.
remember it.
So what about okay, so we've just kind of covered the gamut of other parts of our life that we're not doing enough of, that are just as essential as eating or sleeping or going potty or whatever. I mean, I'm being real here. These are
Yeah,
all essential parts of our life, and we need to take time to honor that part of our life, with humor, with wonderful scents and smells and affirmations around us to remind us of how awesome life can be, and arts and beauty, whatever that means to each one of us, and inspirational books or music, etc., or friends, to be of service, to continue to be of service because it makes us feel good or it's the right thing to do. And all of this will change our attitudes from an attitude of a bad attitude to an attitude of
yeah,
gratitude.
absolutely.
We
And it'll
have
keep nourishing your soul. That's very important.
nourishing our soul is absolutely important. So I think we covered a lot, and we'll put this all in the
Yes,
article.
absolutely. I'd like to, if we could, I'd like to wrap up the show by sharing this one short little passage that I picked up, and it's called "How to Revitalize Your Spirit."
Okay.
And it's pretty simple. It's about 4 or 5 steps. It's very short. It starts with unload your worries. Worry is one of the great energy suckers in life. When you look logically at the things you are worried about, you'll notice a couple things. Many, perhaps most, will never come true. Some are completely out of your control. As you unload yourself of these worries, you begin to recharge your mind and soul. If there are things you are worried about that you cannot control, stop worrying and start taking action. That action will create more energy and relieve the energy drain that was caused by the worry. So just unload your worries. Undo a wrong. Have someone, do you have someone you need to apologize to? Have something large or small weighing on your mind? All of that is wasted mental and emotional energy. All energy can be recaptured by taking the steps to rectify or apologize or whatever else is needed. Only you know what it is. And when you do it, you'll be replenished with the energy almost immediately. Just undo the wrong. Uncalendar some of your time. This is a big one for me and Roxy. Okay, so uncalendar may not be a word, but you know what I mean. If you want to recharge and create new energy in your life, you must change your pace and your plans. Take a few things off your calendar, or simply schedule more time for yourself rather than everyone and everything else. This isn't a selfish act. In fact, as you recharge and create more energy, you are able to help and serve others more. So uncalendar. Unleash your imagination, hopes, and dreams. Think more expansively. Think more positively. This is one of the best things you can do with the time you just gave yourself by uncalendaring. Spend time in goal setting, goal planning, creative thinking. Open your mind to new ideas, approaches, and more. When you do, you will find energy streaming into your life in amazing quantities. The energy is already there. It's ready for you when you're ready to unleash your mind. And this is a very important one. Unplug yourself. In most cases, energy requires plugging into something. It's hard to power the toaster without electricity. In our lives today, we are plugged into so many wonderful ways, to phones, to internet, to Facebook, instant communication, connection and information, productivity, and much more. I'm guessing you have multiple technological tools you use every day, and at least one or more that you use multiple times an hour. As valuable as these devices and appliances are, they can become energy drains. Choose to turn off your phone, shut down your laptop. Don't worry about the news for a day or two. You can do this by going away to a more secluded place, or you can do it by hitting the off button. Create more energy in your life by tapping into different energy when you unplug from some others. So just choose to unplug. And then last but not least, to maximize your results, productivity, and life satisfaction, you must become an energy manager. When you focus on recharging your mental and emotional batteries, you'll have greater energy in every area of your life. I like that. Short and sweet and to the point.
I love everything you just said. It kind of puts everything into a nice
synopsis.
Bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It just made me feel so calm. The only thing that you said, and isn't it interesting, because I think I have to work on this, and I maybe others who are listening or watching today do too, is as soon as you started to say take things off your calendar, I got stiff. The minute you said it, and then I was like, relax, you know what I mean? What
do you mean unscheduled?
I can't take anything off my calendar. I'm trying to fit more stuff, but it's true. It's absolutely true. And these are the reminders. So I'm so grateful that we got to do this today.
Yeah,
I'm so grateful that we got to all hang out today and pass it on. I think we need to pass this on. I think that this is wonderful. I just want to say today's the 27th, yes?
Yes, it is.
And at that, in numerology, the 7 and 2 is a 9.
Yes. It's very, very powerful day. Very powerful day.
9 is it's closure and back to a new beginning, closing one door and opening another. So I didn't even know that till about 10 minutes ago. I just happened to realize it was a 9. So spirit, I don't know, all of us together.
It all falls into place always.
Make this show happen. I mean,
let me just offer this one last quote that I had to share. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your mind off your goals.
All right.
So when you're not focused on your goals, you're going to find little shadows and things. And that's an unknown quote. Nobody knows who did that. Anyway, so thank you,
It
Roxy.
was
That
me.
was awesome.
I did that one.
Yeah, right?
I wrote that quote.
Okay, it was Roxy.
It was me. Hey, if it's out for grabs, I'll put my name on it.
Right.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
thank you, everybody. It's we're actually over time, which is fine because it's our show. And I just wanted to remind everybody that Roxy, you have a new home, if I'm not mistaken. Do you want to let
Yes, I
everybody
do.
know where you are?
Yes, thank you. I'm at Revolution Radio on the front lines now. So
Right
I'm
on.
every Tuesday night, 7 to 9 Central Time, 8 to 10 Eastern Time, and 5 to 7 Pacific Time. And again, Tuesday nights, a 2-hour show. And come and join us if you like.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And also, I'd like to remind everybody that this weekend is the Global Illumination Council's 4th anniversary celebration. This is kind of like an appetizer tonight's show. On tomorrow, we don't really have anything going on, but Saturday is the actual anniversary. The GIC network will be 4 years old, officially 4 years old. Can't believe we're still here after a crazy ride, which has been a great ride, I will say. On Saturday night, we're going to be doing a live cyber party. If you guys have ever seen us on New Year's Eve, we're going to be doing the same thing. It'll be a 4-hour happy hour show with myself. Will be your video jockey, VJ, playing nice dance music and reggae and all kinds of fun stuff. And intermingled, I'll be stopping in, and we're going to be doing a champagne toast every hour on the hour. So I'll be cutting in live and talking to you guys on the hour, as well as the fact that we'll be having a chat also. So you can join us on the chat room and enjoy some great music. Again, that's this Saturday. It'll be 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on Sunday, the celebration continues. We will be, I'm horrible with names, and I'm so embarrassed to say it. I can't remember. My mind just went blank, but I am going to be doing an interview. I believe her name is Judy Carroll. Please forgive me if I'm mistaken. She is the author of the Zeta Message. She's been in contact with the Greys, and she's going to be getting up in the middle of the night in Australia to be joining us for a live webcast on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. She's quite a trooper. Again, she'll be live from Australia, and she is the author of the Zeta Message. She's got a very important message to tell everybody about all these channelers out there, especially the Galactic Federation of Light, and how their message has been perhaps tainted with disinformation. And she will go into a little bit further stuff about that. I think that's a very important topic. I have a hard time when people say, oh, on the 29th, all the ships are going to land. And it never happens. So we need to start being aware of this and start using a little more discernment. And I know Miriam and Delicato and myself have had shows on this. So to have a message from someone who's been in contact with these Greys shall be very interesting. And then on Monday on GIC Radio, we're going to have James Olson, who is a philosopher, among other things. He's also an author. He wrote a book. I have the book here. It's right behind me. But his work and philosophy is about bringing the energy of the left brain and the right brain together to create peace on Earth. So that's very cool, to align the left brain and the right brain. So he works with the energies of the left and right brain. And we're going to be talking more about that as well. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Please remember, if you're so inclined, we are in the middle of a pledge drive. The GIC is looking for pledge sponsors. Pledge sponsorship starts at $3.99 up to $99.99, whatever you're comfortable with, and you can cancel it at any time. You can just go to the gic.org/donate and click on that. You can also just do a one-time donation also. But anyway, so we've had a wonderful time, and Roxy, by the way, you look freaking gorgeous, I gotta tell you.
Oh, God.
I love your necklace. I'm looking at your necklace. I'm like,
isn't that fun?
It's like a flower of life or something. Or
yeah, I did it. I'm wearing it just for the show.
Oh,
so,
well,
yeah,
I love it.
I mean, I'm going to wear it today, the rest of the day.
Right.
I thought of this for the show, and thank you. It is a sort of gangbusters. So
It's cool. It's very, very cool.
piece of little faux jewelry that no, actually it's solid gold. No,
Because we make so much money as activists.
that's that's right. I was just gonna say about the pledges. Um, I I would want to be part of something to help you, Bernard, as well. You and I have been talking about this because of some of the things that have happened with that have been cut off from you to be able to have the ability to continue. You're really getting hammered, and so. Anyone that even thinks about donating to the Truth Denied, because we do get donations, please give them to the GIC, and I really mean that instead of me, instead of us. Please give them to the GIC, because I'm telling you, it brings me to tears to ever think that the GIC would actually go down because it couldn't function anymore based on a few dollars a month. So, and all of your work, which. You just rattle off just a couple of things that are, 4 or 5 things that are coming up in the next couple of days. Bernard works around the clock. I know, because I work around the clock and we talk to each other all the time on Skype and this and that and the other thing.
Which is why we need tools to relax.
We totally do. And so anyway, I'm just saying I really I'm with you on that one. You will not fail. As a matter of fact, according to the big spirit,
that's right. It's a new dawn.
And in this new dawn, it takes a tribe, and that's what we are, Tribe TV.
That's why we're Tribe TV, exactly. And also, just one last thing, don't forget, October 13th, we are having the GIC International Spiritual Activist Conference. And we are very, very excited. The tickets are starting to get really. People are starting to buy up the tickets. Remember, we're keeping it like 50 people, so get your tickets while you can. And it's going to be fall. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. So I'm so excited. And if Roxy can get a babysitter, she'll be here.
That's right. I just put it out there. Whatever.
It'll happen.
Or on live stream, whatever way I can be a part of it.
Absolutely. So that'll be all for today. And Roxy, again, thank you, and I'm so excited. I love what we do here on Tribe TV. I think it's awesome. I'm looking forward to see what next month's topic is going to be.
Yeah, me too. We never know, do we?
We never know. We just kind of go with the flow, and this is what came out today, and we're very happy. So thank you all for joining us. And we will be posting this on YouTube. So tell your friends that they can watch the video archive on YouTube in the next day or so.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. I'm Bernard Alvarez with Roxy Lopez from thetruthDenied.com, and you can find me on the GIC.org. One love, everybody. We love you. Bye-bye.